Another episode of Badass Engineers. I'm Shrikalata, your host and an electronics engineering consultant. Badass Engineer is, as always, powered by Ara's Grassroots Education, powering tech, empowering youth. Hello from my new lab. I have more to say about this in another episode, but today I have an incredible desk, an incredible guest. I have Lara Lalemi, who is the CEO of Creative Tuition Collective, which we're so excited to tell you a lot more about. Hello, Lara.
Hi, how are you? How's everything? You're in a
I'm
new
great.
lab.
I know.
Oh,
It's like proper and everything, but
little tech
we're not
house.
going to talk about this today. We're going to talk
Okay,
about you.
okay. I love that.
Okay. So tell me about yourself. Tell me about your work. Just give us a nice introduction.
Yeah, so as you said, I'm Lara Lalemi. I'm the CEO of Colective Tuition, and we are a organisation that help young people to succeed in life by providing them with better opportunities. So we get super excited when we can help a student realise their full potential, and we do that by offering them free STEM tuition, extracurricular workshops like decolonizing STEM or like just thinking about space, things like that, and also mental health support to help guide them through like becoming more self-confident.
Wow.
Yeah, so like, and we provide young people with like different opportunities like laboratory experience days, or programming experiences. So like, yeah, we're trying to get more young people, especially from marginalized lower income backgrounds, into STEM and feeling confident while they're in STEM. That's our main mission.
I know so many people who would really benefit from that work. How did you get the idea to start this
Oh,
company?
yeah.
Because you're the founder as well, right?
Yeah. So I think it's always been a burning passion of mine to try and change the world. And
Hey.
that's, yeah, I mean, I wanted, ever since I saw people that looked like me suffering because of poverty, I was like, well, I want to change this. I just didn't know how. And just reading Nelson Mandela's quote about education, how I know knowledge is power. And after George Floyd, I was kind of really inspired to like start what I kind of always dreamed of doing.
Mm,
And really it was like my family that kind of got me into it. Like my brother really
really?
started me on this idea of how to be an empowered, more informed person and what that actually meant. And so I wanted to give young people that, but it was my mum giving me like tuition consistently throughout when I was younger that made me realize that's why I'm here today. I had so much
Right.
educational support, and I just realized a lot of young people from low income backgrounds don't get that educational
Yeah.
support. And so I wanted to change that. I don't believe a child's circumstance or the circumstances in which they're born should limit them in what they become, but it does. Especially not in like a first world country that like such as the
Yeah,
UK.
quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote, whatever that
Yeah.
means, or global north country, however you want to refer to us, it shouldn't be happening anymore. But
Yeah.
it is. And so accessibility to STEM, which is one of the sectors that can help people socially mobilize, it needs to increase, especially for lower income students. So like I kind of got this idea, well, let's start from the ages of 13, build them up until 16, and kind of give
Nice.
them all the tools that they need to succeed in their subjects and at life, and give them the tools that we didn't necessarily have,
I love
like
that
how
so
to manage money.
much.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what, sorry?
like how to manage money, or how to like manage your emotions, or how to like conflict resolute, like all of those things that you just never taught, that you should come out of school knowing. I
Yeah.
want to teach young people.
Yeah, and I love what you said as well about underrepresented people and the support that you got from your mother, which a lot of people like us, especially if you're a second generation migrant family, or if you're even a first generation migrant family and the child speak English and the parents don't. My mom didn't speak any English. So it was actually sort of the other way around. I was a child and I was having to translate sort of
Mm,
bills and letters, etc. I've never had that support that most kids in this country would probably enjoy. So it's really nice to see somebody who's trying to level that playing field. That's
oh
really
yeah,
cool.
100%. Like it's parents are so integral to a student's learning, and it's not like a lot of first generation parents like support their students' education, but
Hmm.
if there's a language barrier, it becomes so much harder to do. And so how can we bridge those gaps so that like people from first generation families aren't feeling that like pressure to do everything,
100%. Yeah.
And like just even like having, like you're saying, like schools being able to provide translations or breakdowns of things, so it's so important, and it doesn't put the onus on the child. It allows everyone to have enter in the conversation, and that's something that we're looking into next year, like having more so I think translations is such a big thing.
Changing the world. So I have
trying to
I have the Badass Engineers bag, which I don't know if you know about it or not.
No, I don't.
It's a bag of mystery. It holds questions, and we've got some questions in there for you. So are you ready to get asked some questions from the bag?
It matches my earrings, so I'm ready for it.
It does. I love it. All right, let's open it. Right, what does this question say? This one says, what are the problems with today's engineering education? Now, I know you have a lot to say, and I know I have a lot to say, but I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, okay, there's a lot. And I'm going to try and think about this like intersectionally. So really and truly, when you look at the statistics, women in engineering only make up 10% of engineers. That's also people of ethnic minority also make up 10%, which is 13% in the labor force. But also quite shockingly as well, like only 24% of people within engineering are from lower income backgrounds.
Really?
And people that occupy higher managerial roles are like 4 times more likely to be from higher income backgrounds than lower income backgrounds. So we have this accessibility problem, and the fact is it happens at multiple stages of the leaky pipeline. I think a lot of people think it's young people coming into university, which is very true, but we lose people as we go up the pipeline. So from undergraduate to postgraduate to academic to professorship, we keep losing people, and I believe it's because of the culture and the sense of belonging that people from marginalized backgrounds don't have. And I think often I get this thing of saying like, and actually some of the research does really show that like a lot of white lower income cis male students don't actually go into engineering as well. Like it's that fact that like what I found from a lot of my research is it's like money is quite a limiting factor, and the ability to get extra help and extra support and all of those things is a limiting factor in someone succeeding in engineering, and that's compounded by their race, by the culture, by acceptance and imposter syndrome. It's compounded, but like the underlying layer of like affording like both university and to get extra help is like one of the biggest barriers, I believe.
Yeah, and I it's fine because I was like, oh, I recognize myself in those things. And what do you think sort of people like us, so you and I, where we do fall under that stereotype, but we've sort of powered through?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, like I said, it's like my family. There was like, I wanted to go into arts, like I wanted to go and draw because I love that.
Girls, same. Girls.
Literally, I was like design. And the thing is, like, my family kept me on this. They each had a talk with me. My dad as well. Like, they kept me on this like this path where they were like, look, like STEM is going to afford you more things.
Yeah.
And not just that, they didn't just steer me towards that, because really and truly they would have supported me doing anything.
Yeah.
But I think it was also like when you go home like crying when your degree's rubbish, or when you don't feel like during my PhD when I couldn't pick myself up, the amount of love and support my family gave to me and my friends like kept me going. And if someone doesn't have that pure love and support network, whether it's from their chosen family or their blood family, it's very hard to keep going. They say that I make a comment in my thesis, like they say it takes like a village to raise a child, and I generally think it takes a village to raise a PhD student.
Wow.
It takes so many people and mentors to like guide you through and keep you going and build your resilience. And if people don't have that and don't have that resilience, it ends up that they do end up dropping out. So I was very lucky in the fact that not only did I have a really good non-chosen family as in like my core family, but I had a brilliant chosen family, mentors, and I got myself those mentors, and I had a support system.
Go get it. Like, I brought myself those mentors. I knew what I needed and I made sure it was there.
I mean, everyone that's been on your podcast is so brilliant, and it's like they're an email away. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to find, or easier now than ever to find a mentor that suits you, that can help encourage you beyond yourself, beyond what you think you can accomplish. Really, a lot of my mentors, and something I was talking about today in one of the workshops I was doing, is that my mentor saw something in me that I didn't see. And so every time I was like, I don't think I could do this. Like, why not? Like, it's completely ridiculous. You can't. And because I looked up to them so much, someone's that I looked up saying that, looked up to saying that, made me feel so much more like seen and okay, maybe I can actually do this. It's really strange. It's that validation that we say we shouldn't want, but we do want. So yeah, the best piece of advice I've ever found was like, at any age, find yourself a mentor, like no matter what age you are, because they help you get through those hard times.
Yeah, that is really powerful. And you know what, I've had tons of mentors, but the people who've mentored me the most are not necessarily people who called themselves my mentors, or people I would officially have like a mentoring session with. They're people I've gone to for help with specific problems, and they've really helped. And that's actually, I find that so much more helpful when you have sort of a vision, or somebody who can help you have that vision, and then steps on what do we need to do to achieve next, rather than a blank slate.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's all those people in between as well, isn't it? It's just anyone that's willing to like sit with you and hold you in that space and be like, it's safe for you to like not be okay or not be perfect here. And I think especially within STEM, I think because of this imposter syndrome, which is really like it's got a lot of people in a chokehold. It makes you feel like you have to be perfect, and if you're not seen as perfect, or you don't come across as perfect or knowledgeable, then you don't deserve to be in STEM. When in actual fact, all of us are trying. Like, none of us are feeling like we're at the apex, and we've achieved everything and we're super clever. And do you know what I mean? Like, speaking to academics across chemistry, and they don't feel like I thought they would feel like experts, you know. And so
everybody's just winging it, Lara. I'm just winging it.
And I think we need to like keep that energies and like look, like everyone's like knowledgeable, but they're like in some ways winging how to do this thing. You know what I mean? You only know as much as you know right now. So I think finding people that can be like, yeah, me too, and like allow you to feel seen, I think is a really powerful thing. And I guess that in creative tuition, that's what I try to do with my tutors. Like, a lot of my tutors are already in STEM, and they help young people to realize that like, I'm also fallible. I also don't know everything, but we're going to work on this to get to that place together where we both feel like we're like developed and growing, you know. And so we're developing and growing. So I think like that's what I try to like embed in my organization, that this sense of growth and self-reflection and understanding and kindness, you know, because that's what we deserve. Yeah, I mean, it's what we deserve as people.
Yeah, and I especially love that you said kindness, because I think leaders aren't necessarily seen as kindness is a something that they need to have to lead, and that really just breaks me, because I never see myself or as holding certain positions, because we say, you need to be X, Y, and Z, and I'm A, B, and Z, you know. But are you ready for another question from the back?
Yeah.
Matching bag, matching earrings, everybody. And by the way,
they're ready.
If you're listening live, we're reading questions live right now, so feel free to ask us anything. All right, so let's see what the next question says.
Let's go.
Oh, I love this one. Okay, this one says, you talk about decolonizing engineering. What do you mean by that?
That's a good question. I think when I talk about decolonizing engineering is first recognizing, okay, how has engineering been colonized, or how has it like contributed to this colonial I guess power and I guess control over not only education, our environment, our society, all these things. So it's like, how has engineering like featured in that? And then when we say decolonizing, it means like, okay, so how do we dismantle some of or all of those structures that are upholding this colonial narrative? No, it's not saying that, okay, let's disregard everything that was built or learned during the colonial era. Actually, no, let's keep all of that and keep learning from that. But it is about looking at it and saying, okay, what bits are perpetuating inequality, injustice, inequity, and what bits of it can be adapted and dismantled so that we can improve those things. So decolonization, it can be quite a subjective thing, but like for me, it's about how do we dismantle these subjects and reassess and be like, okay, so what would an ideal engineering curriculum or environment look like, and how do we start to build those parts together?
I have opinions.
Yeah, exactly. And like, how can we build it intersectionally, and how can we make sure that like we're not making the same mistakes again? Because it's actually really true when you speak to people like Professor Steve Icon, like, and how engineering, a decolonized engineering course is a safe course. It leads to safe. It's same as like decolonizing medicine is a safer medical like degree. Like it makes people safer when they have to think about society and the impacts of colonialism on how social groups work, and how I guess engineering has featured in a lot of those I guess the problems that are arising from like social the interaction between engineering and social groups. So like for example, Grenfell is a really good example of that. This idea that like when it's low deprivation areas, like engineering is like there's some corners that are cut, and so that in that sense it's generally safer when you start to pick apart like why do we need to think about these things, you know.
I could not have said it anyway better. That was that's incredible, and I think it helps people think of it, you know, think of when just using specific examples again, it just hits so hard. It's so powerful. Thank you for that.
No problem. It's just really also really interesting when you think about like the way people like refer to like the pyramids as like who generated the pyramids, and like in some research it's like, okay, like some people believed it was aliens rather than thinking
why.
Yeah, exactly. And it's those kinds of things. It's like I think decolonization forces us to look at history and also modern day and think about, okay, like how have we gotten here and how do we build better in the future? So for me, it's like building a better future. That's what decolonization is about. It's not about taking away. It's about enriching everything we have to become better, so that often the next generation is living in a world that's more equal and more considerate and kind, and understanding. And I think that's why wouldn't people want that?
Oh yeah, why wouldn't people want? Why are people so scared of it? Why aren't we doing it?
Exactly.
Let's do it, guys.
Yeah. And I think people are scared of it because they feel like they think it's going to take away, like it's taking away, it's stopping, it's and I think some, because engineering's made up a lot of white cis males, they think, oh, like, so what, my place is no longer important now. It's like, no, you're incredibly important. Everyone is incredibly important in this story. Like the best thing you can do if you want to start decolonization or decolonizing your topic is to start decolonizing yourself. Where do you meet with like some of the colonial narratives that have been embedded in society? What has formed your like understanding of yourself and the world around you? Start with that, and then you'll start to realize actually you have been influenced by colonialism or the way in which colonialism has shaped our society. And then you'll be more likely to go on this road of decolonization and understanding how do we start to like unpick that.
I love it. 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 Let's go for one more question from the bag,
Let's
shall
go.
we?
Yeah,
All right,
I'm so
let's
ready.
go.
Ooh, I wish there was like some music, like do 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 do.
That's why I have to like make my own music, and it's different every time. Like,
Oh, I know.
this
I
is
love
what
that.
engineers do, apparently.
I mean, you're breaking down barriers of what like an engineering person looks and performs like. So I love it. It's like it's revolution. When I saw you, I was like, oh, that's what people need to see.
Oh,
You are what people need to see, 100%.
you too. And literally, just I feel so lucky and thankful for all the strong and not standard at all people in my STEM community. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how I landed that. Like you guys are amazing. Thank you.
I think we just accumulate them, don't we? We're just like, oh, come with me. Like
Maybe
I
we
like.
just like gravitate towards each
Yeah,
other.
we do. We do. We have to. It's safe spaces, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, you can be yourself around
Yeah, and
other
present.
people who are like
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah, and feel seen and heard and valued, which is so important.
Absolutely.
So the
Okay, let's
bag.
see. Let's see what the bag says.
I'm ready.
Okay. It was like a snake dancing and
Java.
does it. Okay, what does this one say? What can other organizations or companies do to support your work? What can they do to support
Oh,
your work, Lara? What can they do
that's
to
a great
support
question.
creative tuitions, collective? Also, it's
Yes,
cute that it's a collective. I love that it's a collective.
yeah, we are, and we want to invite people into our collective. So what we want to do is work with engineering companies to kind of bridge that gap between school and maybe an apprenticeship or university. So we're working with a couple of companies to provide work experience weeks. But the difference between like our work experience weeks is like we don't just go, okay, here's what engineers do and like show you around the shop and stuff like that. We do like exercises like vision boarding and visualization, so they
Ooh.
start to visualize themselves as an engineer or thinking about themselves in that space. We do like ED&I talks, we do self-development meditation talks, things like that. So we try to integrate the self into our work experience weeks, and we're really looking for companies to partner with us on those kind of experience days, because I think from my research, what I'm finding is a lot of companies are still struggling to get young people interested into engineering and into their apprenticeships. And
Yeah,
so I want to provide
100%.
yeah, exactly. And I want to provide a route for young people to not only know about the company, but get inspired by that company and be like, okay, in 2 years' time, I know what to do in order to get onto this apprenticeship. Because what we find is that, like, especially, university doesn't have to be the only route.
Yeah.
And
Yes. Yes.
it doesn't have to. And like so many brilliant companies are offering engineering apprenticeships that are so useful and so important in the future for young people, and you get paid while doing it, right? So like that's so good for especially the demographic we're looking at, which is lower income students. So yeah, I think that we really want to partner with more engineering companies on these work experience weeks, because we believe together we can inspire the next generation of engineers to be both confident in themselves but also confident in what they want to do.
So, any engineering companies or organization listening to this, please partner with Creative Tuitions Collective and help make this field even more creative, even more amazing, and full of diverse and amazing engineers. That would be really my dream,
That
honestly.
would be my dream as well. There's so much to do, and there's so many brilliant organizations like Engineering UK doing it. So yeah, like I just partnerships from everywhere and anywhere. I just want to get to know more people and see what we can do together.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And like, do you work across the UK?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's predominantly in Bristol and Southwest.
Ooh,
But
represent.
yeah,
I'm in
exactly.
Bristol. Anybody who's who's wondering.
Yes, like we work in Bristol, but like I obviously we have dreams of going across the UK. We have dreams of like going internationally. So yeah, like it's small steps, but Southwest is where I'm really like hoping we can get some engineering stuff going, because it's brilliant in the Southwest. Technology and engineering is like thriving. So why
It
not?
really is.
It really is.
So
now
many
is the
startups.
time.
It feels like a tech startup hub
Yeah, and
almost.
now's the time, right? Like, if we want to be having a diverse workforce by 2030, or no, we need a little bit longer than that, but like by at least 2050, if we want to have like equal parity between like the population and the workforce, then we need to like start thinking of ways to actually get more young people into these roles, because it
We've
benefits
got a
everyone.
comment from Bristol as well saying Bristol massive. Hello.
We're still massive.
Bristol massive.
It's where it's at. But also, I'd love to work across the UK, because I don't know, the UK is such a home, obviously home for me. So, and I think this is a problem across like the north and south. So yeah, keen to get started.
Oh, that's Lara, thank you so much for your time and your light and your energy and the amazing work that you do to fix the world. I feel so honored to have spoken with you today.
No, honor's all mine. Thank you so much for having me and asking me those brilliant questions. I love them.
Oh, look at me asking great questions.
No,
And thank you. Say again.
It's been brilliant.
Oh, thank you. It's been brilliant for me too. And I'm always thankful for everybody who listens to us and supports our work. Thank you for everybody who's listening right now and everybody who's going to listen to the podcast when it's released and all the videos that we release throughout the month as well. And of course, thank you to RS Grassroots Education, because you really are powering tech, empowering youth. So thank you. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Badass Engineers. All right. Thank you, Lara, and thank you, everybody. I'll see you all next time. Bye, Masalama. We're gonna have to like do bye for a